Hello again, it's Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post here in our Hercules Tire Studios in Concord, North Carolina. Ashley Stremme in the Lethal Chassis Studios up in Pennsylvania. Hello, Ashley, how are you?
I am fabulous. How about yourself?
I could not be any better. Life is good. We're going to talk about this later on. I got 3 straight weekends of sprint cars coming up. I'm telling you what, I am fired up. Life is really, really good. And Ashley, looking at grandstand crowds over the last few weeks, I would say life for racetracks, when run properly, is really, really well. Jackson Nationals, we talked about that last week. Huge crowds. When we look at the sprint car world, just 2 from Pennsylvania. Port Royal in a rainout on Saturday night was jam-packed, and Selinsgrove on Sunday night was unreal. It was massive crowds of people.
It's true. The holiday weekend, obviously, July 4th is one of the top ones for racing. But like you said, Port Royal slam-packed. Even though it had rained off and on all day, the fans still showed up. Unfortunately, they didn't get that one in, but they will be running it later this month. But they sure showed up for Selinsgrove as well. It's awesome what we're seeing right now in short track racing. The fans are packing the stands, even with the SRX stuff. Brand new, first time going to these places, and the facilities are full. It's so awesome.
SRX is rolling. The NASCAR world, we've just come out of Nashville, Pocono, and Road America. There are people and have been people everywhere. No empty seats to be found. What really struck me is the Southeast here, asphalt racing. South Boston Speedway up in South Boston, Virginia. I don't know that I've ever seen a crowd of people, so it seems to be the case all around. Ashley, I don't know, holiday weekend, cabin fever, COVID, I don't know what it is, but it sure is nice to see everybody out and about.
Add it all together, it doesn't matter. It's a good thing for our short track racers and the tracks themselves. This is what we need, this resurgent to our sport so it can continue to flourish.
Yes, it is. Resurgent indeed. And resurgent is Brad Sweet, the big cat. Now, he went through a blip. He went through a period where he did not win a race for like 6 or 7 times. Yeah, he's the champion, the reigning champ of the World of Outlaws. Well, he's taken care of that recently, including this past weekend at Cedar Lake, Wisconsin. Carson Macedo with the lead, swapping it up with Brad Sweet. It's our Dryden Diesel All Death-Defying Move of the Week. Here is our buddy Johnny Gibson on Dirt Vision.
And now for the Dryden Death-Defying Move of the Week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Brad Sweet may have a run in the closing 2 laps. He's got to run down the back straightaway. They'll race to the white flag with a battle for the lead. Slide job by the big cat. He leads as they take the white flag.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Death, the official death of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
Pride, passion, performance. We are Team Dryden.
Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Continuing on, let's go to the Hercules Tire Hotline. Joining us, one of the guys with the greatest nicknames in all of sprint car racing, the North Pole Nightmare. Bill Balog is on the phone. Hello, Bill. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We are doing well. Bill, the last time we chatted with you was on our Tuesday show, and it was after some wins with the All-Stars up in your home state now of Wisconsin. But it was pre-Ohio Speed Week, and you had talked about how you've never raced more in your life and getting ready for Speed Weeks. I guess in the aftermath of that, how did you survive running Ohio Speed Weeks for the first time?
Well, we survived, I guess. That's the thing. I thought we'd probably do maybe a little bit better, but we were never really in the hunt for any wins. I think just kind of struggled on some of those racetracks, and we had a couple decent nights too. So it wasn't all bad, but the final night was pretty rough. And you can wish in one hand, you know what they say. So, but glad to be able to do it, and it was an experience, and a lot of bonding with the team, so that was pretty cool too.
Bill, you're currently sitting 5th in points with the All-Star Circuit of Champions. What has this year like? You're seeing racetracks for the first time. You said earlier before we went on that you've raced a lot in your life, but you're racing a lot now. What's this year been like so far?
It's been really good. You know, it's kind of in the back of your mind. You don't want to get burned out or anything like that because, you know, just there's a lot of work behind the scenes and stuff. But it's been really a lot of fun with the guys and being able to do this. You know, there's been a lot of nights where, you know, it starts good and then at the end of the night, you know, I'll kind of throw my steering wheel across the trailer or something. So that's kind of frustrating sometimes. But overall, it's been really good. It's been fun. You know, it's this type of deal where we don't come from a big money family or anything like that. So it's good to be able to race 410s and you know, as much as we do. So yeah, I'm just happy to be able to race this much right now. And yeah, it's going to be hopefully we can get through the next half of the year kind of the same way or maybe even a little bit better. You know, we haven't really tore up any cars, which is obviously a positive thing. And yeah, everything's just been going really good with parts. And yeah, hopefully we can just keep the season going at least as it is. And we got some big races coming up, so hopefully we can do a little better even.
Bill, you have had so much success with the IRA, but that's kind of for you guys in Wisconsin. There might be a road trip or two, but that's a stay-at-home deal where you're in and out, and a lot of the racers are the same way. The camaraderie, the on the road with other teams, the where's the nearest car wash, or the bad hotels or the good hotels. What is that all been like for you and your guys?
I think it's been really good. There's some aggressive racing, but no one's really running each other over, I've noticed. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I mean all the guys and the girls, they're all really nice out there on the road. And yeah, I think the All-Stars in general they're just a very professional series, and they're the same way. They're just very welcoming but at the same time when it's time for business, it's time for business. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Neat to experience it, that's for sure.
Bill, you won 2 races in Wisconsin with the All-Stars earlier this year. You currently have 4 in a row with the IRA Bumper to Bumper Series. How much has racing with the All-Stars basically elevated your program and your driving ability?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's been, you know, obviously the more you race, the better that you know, can be. So, I mean, I'm getting old, but we're still growing and I'm still developing, you know, and it's really been, it's been fun to prove that, you know, you can compete with, you know, some of these bigger teams and stuff. Yeah, I think I have a lot of help too with on the crew side of all this. So they put the pressure on you too to do the best you can. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun really proving that, you know, you can drive one of these things at this level. So it's been awesome. And I always said, you know, I kind of wish I would have done this a few years ago, but it just really wasn't in the cards. So being able to do it now, it's just neat. It's neat to be able to do it.
It really is, and it's fun to watch, that's for sure. Bill, hang in there with us. Everyone else, stick around. More with Bill Balog in just a moment.
Hey, Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honey Crisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey.
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Continuing on, Bill Balog, the North Pole Nightmare, joins us on the Hercules Tire Hotline. And Bill, I want to follow up from something you were sharing with us before the commercial break about putting this together, B Squared Racing, okay? It's taken you a few years to kind of put this all together. You've driven with Hans Lean for a number of years now. Your cousin, Ryan Buser, also. How important, as you guys have stepped into this, stepped up your game, how important has it been to have that foundation of partners and people that you can rely on as you go forward with this?
Yeah, it's been really good. We've been doing this. I've kind of had my own team for, kind of starting with my dad really back in, I don't know what year it was, but, with Ryan and Hans and really just, you could let them down or move on to something else, but they've invested so much and you want to do the best you can with them. And I think, a good example of kind of jumping out there and doing something like this is I always thought of the Shark Racing guys, how they just kind of ran local very little and then just went to the World of Outlaws and 2 cars and 1 trailer. That was inspiring, I think, to a lot of people. And now they seem to be doing, just amazing. So if I don't know how much of everyone was on board with me leaving town and trying to buy motors and all this stuff, but I just did it anyways, and then they kind of went along with it, I think. So it's kind of cool.
That's awesome. Hey, dream big and do whatever it takes to make it happen. Obviously, on the side of that wing is Anderson's maple syrup. We've talked about them and what they do for the sport and how much they love sprint car racing. But Bill, I'm curious to know what's made it the craziest thing that you've put maple syrup on.
Oh, I haven't got too crazy, I guess. I'm more of just a pancake guy myself, but it's really good on vanilla ice cream. So, but yeah, we bring it along with us. We brought it inside McDonald's when we were on the road, and put it on their pancakes. So yeah, it's good stuff. So it's been fun to work with them too, with Mike and Steve, and just doing the best we can to promote their product. It's just been it's been really fun.
Bill, I want to talk a little bit further about that on the business side of it as you work with partners like Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup, but also I've seen over the course of this year you've added new lines to the merchandise. Traditionally the T-shirts and hats, but you've got the wing panels and you've got some other items. How much are you involved in that personally? And what is that like having to factor in the business side of this thing along with the nuts and bolts and wings and engines?
Yeah, like I said, we took the weekend off, but really didn't take the weekend off. We didn't race, but there's a lot going on there with the T-shirts and the social media. Natalie helped me with that a lot, and then another great guy, Chad Millis. He owns Turn It Up Media in Colorado, and I've had that on the side of my car all year, and he's been doing a lot with the social media, and it's just been, it's been great. So I don't have to type a lot. I can just kind of talk to him and stuff. And yeah, it's been going good, but pretty busy. We're actually doing T-shirts today, just kind of organizing and sorting and seeing, doing inventory and all that fun stuff. So, but yeah, it's been good.
There are so many facets to making a sprint car team happen, and those T-shirts are important because those extra dollars help, and the fans love it. But Bill, the 17B, where did the 17 come from? Obviously, we can kind of guess where the B falls into place, but why 17?
My dad he started racing these little midgets little 3/4 midgets when he was like 15 years old, and he was number 71. And I don't really know why that is, but we just kind of flipped it around after, 30 or 40 years later, when I started racing a little bit more and stuff. So, yeah, that's just pretty much where it came from. We just took his number and just flipped it around. And I raced another car that was a number 7. And, there was just something about the 7 that was kind of cool to me. And so that's what we did with that.
Neat, that's for sure. You talk about your dad racing. I think last year we talked also about Dylan and Cole, your boys. Are they still racing, or have they moved on to other activities?
Oh no, they're still racing. Yeah, I think tomorrow they're off, but Tuesday nights at Beaver Dam. Yeah, and they've been doing great. I mean, they've been. We've pretty much just been doing that because I'm gone on the weekends. But I think Dylan is going up north with the car. I think in a week or so. But anyways, no, they've been doing great, and they're at the age where they can wash their own driving suits and bring their own, make sure they have their own gloves with them and stuff. So it's been pretty fun messing around with all that stuff, and it turns out I think that they're both pretty good race car drivers. So I guess when Cole gets a little older and moves up to another class, we can look more into that. But it's just fun taking them. My mom's been going along with me, and yeah, it's been pretty neat. Trying to teach them a little bit, but just letting them kind of do their thing.
Are they receptive to what Dad, the racer, has to say, or are they more independent, like, Dad, I can do this, I've watched you enough?
It depends on how loud I yell at them. No, I'm just kidding. But they're good. Yeah, they listen, and if something really has to be said, you can say it. But yeah, I don't know. I trying not to. I'm just trying to let them be kids and have a good time. But it is pretty intense too sometimes. There's nail biters out there, and it's kind of hard to watch sometimes. But it'll pay off years later, I believe.
I believe so. Following in their dad's footsteps, who followed in his dad's footsteps. Great story,
Yep.
That's for sure. Bill, congratulations on the survival of the first half of the season, the wins with the All-Stars, the wins with the IRA. We'll see you at a couple different events coming up, but thanks for the time and joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
There we go. The North Pole Nightmare, Bill Balog, joining us here on Wing Nation. Stay with us. Our Tweet Your Seat, Tweet of the Week, and a lap around the sprint car world.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
We're back. You're watching Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit, and it is Tweet Your Seat, Tweet of the Week time. And this week, it comes from Steve. It is a video of the green flag at Grove Speedway for the heat race. Huge crowd. I know we talked about this earlier, but again, racing is booming, and PA Speed Week finale was incredible. And Brett Marks, no surprise there, picks up the win at Grove Speedway, and Danny Dietrich ended up winning Pennsylvania Speed Week Championship.
Yes, he did. And let's take a lap around the sprint car world. We'll start there in Pennsylvania with turn number 1. 8 races in 10 nights was all part of Pennsylvania Speed Weeks, presented by, what's the burger joint up there? The,
Red Robin.
Yeah, exactly. Presented by, Red Robin, yum. Good God almighty. Off the reservation, had brain fade, and now the jingle is stuck in an earworm. How to go from brain fade to earworm in 10 seconds right here on Wing Nation. 8 races. How about this? Brett Marks with 3 wins. Lance Deweese, Kyle Larson with 2 wins, and Justin Peck. And Ashley, you mentioned it, Danny Dietrich was the champion there.
Yeah, absolute insanity all week long. Unfortunately, there were 2 rainouts, Hagerstown and Port Royal, which is very minimal for PA Speed Week. Usually it's been real bad, so it's great. This was the first championship for Danny since 2016 for PA Speed Week. So he's not checking off the wins like he would like to, but still pounding down the door.
Yes, indeed. Let's go to turn number 2, the Australian-United States connection. Back in the 1970s and 80s, Noted team owner, engine builder, and all-around genius of sprint car racing, Bob Trossel coordinated a contingent of American sprint car drivers to Australia and then Australian drivers back to America. Now, Max Dumsney was an Australian driver that had success in America, and Ashley, there's been some others along the way that have done well as well.
Absolutely. Brooke Tatnell and Carrie Madsen, two notables. Obviously, Ian, a good friend of mine, Linton Jeffrey, started his wing business over here, Vortex, and huge success at Knoxville in the Midwest with racing, but his wings are all over the country now. But it's absolutely incredible what's happening.
And another name was added to the North American win list this past weekend at Waynesfield. It was Lachlan McHugh. Lachlan McHugh added his name. So another Aussie taking some money here in North America. Let's go down the backstretch from one other country to another. Canada. Canada has been on lockdown. The sprint car racers have not been racing, but that all changes this week. The Pitney's Night of Thunder Tour. It's a 360 tour, and it kicks off this weekend.
Yeah, they've got so many tracks: Brockwell, Cornwall, Brighton, Ohsweken, Humberstone, Southern Ontario Speedway. It's going to be absolutely incredible, and I'm sure those places are going to be packed too.
Yep. Merrittville this Saturday night, and lean time. I saw Thomas Kennedy. We had met him up, I think, at the Jackson Nationals. Aaron and I had met him a couple years ago. Wonderful, wonderful guy. He hasn't been in a sprint car in a year and a half, but he'll be at Merrittville Speedway on this Saturday night. Finally, when we roll through turn number 3, we move to turn number 4, Eldora Speedway. Ashley, we talked a lot at the top about maybe the pandemic, the after effects of the pandemic, and who all dealt with it in different ways. Eldora, they dealt with it by just doubling down on everything.
It's insane. Obviously, the dream was incredible. Brandon Overton swept both of those. And it's about time to see if we can do the same with the King's Royal, if someone can pick up both nights.
It's next weekend. Who will join Big Sexy? That's Brandon Overton's nickname, which I love that nickname. It's not quite the North Pole Nightmare, but Big Sexy works, that's for sure. Wednesday night, it's the Joker's Wild. This is all next weekend. Thursday night, the King's Royal, the first one, pays $175,000 to win. Friday night, the night before the King's Royal, and Saturday night, a second King's Royal and a second $170,000 on the line. Ashley, if they sweep the weekend, it's $370,000. Not a bad payday for a sprint car racer.
No, absolutely not. I mean, even $175,000 is a dang good payday, let alone to sweep the weekend.
Hey, there you have it, our lap around the sprint car world. Stay with us, more Wing Nation in just a moment.
I'm not ready yet. Come on. All right, I'm ready now.
Hey, Ashley, what are you up to?
I just Okay. I just stopped by to pick up my sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
Yeah, okay.
This is what it looks like when you do it.
Ta-da!
Take a deep breath, count to 5. It's like running across a rhythm section at a motocross track.
Mine was perfect.
Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit, continuing on we do. I am so excited because, Ashley, it is sprint car season for me. I am so fired up about it. This weekend, Knoxville, okay? Trucks on Friday night with NASCAR. I'm over there with MRN, but I get to see USAC and the 410s on Saturday. Next week, I'm going to the King's Royal, going to catch all the racing action there. And the week after that, ASCS Sprint Speed Week. I'm going to hit 3 great racetracks in Arkansas: Riverside, Batesville, and I-30 over in Little Rock. I cannot wait for sprint car season, and it is going to be a big, big month.
Absolutely. I mean, we've talked about the month of money, but it's turned into the summer of money, and you're going to get to see a pretty good chunk of it. So that's awesome. And when you go to Batesville, we'll have to chat. I got some tips for you in Batesville.
Now, you have kind of transitioned. You did sprint cars at Houston's and Jackson. You've transitioned to the summer of SRX. Your husband, David, is, of course, the test driver for the new SRX series. And where did I hear you're headed to Slinger this weekend?
Yeah, we're in Slinger, Wisconsin this coming weekend. And then the following weekend is the finale in Nashville. So, I know it's been awesome thus far. The races have been incredible. If you haven't checked them out, be sure to turn in, get your Dirt Vision or your Flow up, and then get the TV turned into CBS for some SRX racing.
Nashville, Tennessee. I'll bet you I don't think you can go to Nashville and not have a good time. It is great stuff. Hey, speaking of a good time, it was great hanging out with Bill Balog here today on Wing Nation, so we appreciate his time. More important, though, than all of that, we appreciate you. Thanks for joining us here this week on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.